Hello, and welcome to the Everyday Joy podcast. I'm your host, Joy Ravella. Now, you may not know this, but we have an entire Facebook group dedicated to extended conversations around the episodes. So, for example, if today's episode really resonates with you, jump on over to the Facebook group. You can post something yourself, or you can be part of another conversation that's already happening there. It's a safe space for you to connect with other like-minded people, and it's super easy to join. All you have to do is head to the link in the description below, answer 2 questions, and that's it. You'll be entered in. I really hope you can make the most of this incredible community. Right now, though, let's get into today's Bible verse.
Careful planning puts you ahead in the long run. Hurry and scurry puts you further behind. That's from Proverbs 21 verse 5 in the Message version.
I've got the incredible Ash here in studio with me. Hello, Ash.
Hey, Joy. So good to be here.
Can you believe we're coming towards the end of 2023?
I'm so excited.
You're excited?
I love Christmas and summertime and everything fun.
Oh, you know, Ari's birthday's coming up and he's turning 30 and then I'm turning 30.
Because your birthday's right before Christmas, isn't it?
We have so many birthdays.
Wow.
Ari's sister's born 3 days after him. His mum's born early December. His grandma's born like 3 days after his mum. And then there's like others as well. It's just, there's literally like 6 birthdays and we've only got like 10 in our family. Like on both sides living in Melbourne.
That is an expensive month.
I need a budget for it, which actually ties in really well
with
what I want to talk about today. So we'll get into my story a bit later. But Ash, what is your first impression of this verse?
It makes me laugh when God just outright calls me out constantly. And I read this verse and I go, wow, Lord, you really know that we are going to lean to hurry and busyness at the drop of a hat.
Oh, yeah.
I think you could set up your life as much as you wanted to, but it takes so much discipline and so much work to not fall into those hurry, busy, chaotic sort of seasons. And I think it's encouraging when you see those scriptures because you know that God knows that's how we're going to be. Yeah. And God knows that we need him to help us get out of those mindsets.
Yeah. And what I love about that verse is just the picture of hurry and scurry.
That's how I feel often. Hurried and scurried.
I just like, when I imagine how I'd like to walk into a room, I don't imagine myself hurrying and scurrying.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I could choose the kind of way people would describe how joy walks or moves through life, I would like to think that people, I don't know if this is reality, but I would like to think that joy is elegant and purposeful.
Yes.
Right? But this hurry and scurry business is probably more of what I'm like in real life.
I stomp in my heels into the office.
Wearing my blazer. I wish. But you know what? I think this is a really good time to talk about this verse because Christmas is around the corner.
So true.
And this is not going to be an adding to your plate stressful kind of episode.
Yeah.
But I think what I really want to share today is a story around last year and how we did not plan well and we hurried and scurried and drove ourselves into the ground and how this year we have planned ahead.
That's amazing.
So I'll just launch straight into it.
Yeah, go for it.
So the thing that this verse, to answer one of the standard questions in each episode, what this tells me about God is that he values careful planning. And the way we did Christmas last year was, well, there was no planning. We were like, okay, well, I'll buy something for every single person around Christmas time, and then we'll, spend some time at Ari's parents' place, spend some time at my parents' place, and it'll all be fine.
Yeah.
The thing is that because we didn't plan for it, we ended up spending a lot more money than we needed to because we wanted to get people nice gifts.
Yeah.
And then what ended up happening is we didn't plan our timelines really well. And so we, on Christmas Day, were doing like Christmas Eve at his parents' place, Christmas morning at mine, church service somewhere in the middle. And by the time Christmas Day was over, I was exhausted.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I was saying to Ari is I want Christmas this year to be peaceful.
Yeah.
So what can we do to plan towards a peaceful Christmas?
Yeah.
And one of the first things we decided is that we are going to buy presents throughout the year. So we've actually done maybe 3 or 4 of our presents already. Yeah, because we were like, well, we've got Christmas and all the birthdays. So it's sort of like, yeah, we've got quite a few more left to go. But that was one of the things that we put in place, that we will buy gifts as we go along. And we've got this little place in our home where we keep all the gifts over there.
Good.
And the other thing is, well, we're watching our money financially, because with our 30th birthdays and our anniversary and all those things, those are expensive sort of one-off things. We definitely want to celebrate them, but that means we need to be better financially. And so I've been keeping my eye out on DIY presents that I can make in the lead up to Christmas. And that, of course, again, takes careful planning, because you can't DIY a project the night before unless you want it to look like a 6-year-old's, craft project. I want it to be really beautiful and handmade. So I went to the op shop, would have been a month ago now, and I saw they were selling these circular felt coasters.
Cute.
And so my plan is to, over the next little while, transform each coaster into like a bespoke sort of coaster for each person and just make it really special.
That's great.
And that involves careful planning. It involves buying the right fabric, setting aside time to sew and to put it all together. But the payoff is going to be a peaceful Christmas day.
Yes. Yeah.
And so my encouragement to you listening right now is, what do you want your Christmas day to feel like?
Yeah.
Like, if you could pick 3 words to describe how you'd like to be feeling on the day and write them down. For me, I want to feel peaceful. I want to feel connected to Jesus. And I want to feel surrounded by family.
That's awesome.
And so the peaceful part comes in with taking away the stresses of the planning. If I do it earlier, I'll be all right. Close to Jesus means I want to actually start my morning with some quiet time.
Yeah.
And last year it was so busy. There was no room. Honestly, it was like Christmas without the Jesus for me last year, if I'm honest. So that's a really big thing for me. And the last one is with family. I really want to need to start getting those messages sent out, but setting expectations with family members. I want to spend time with both sides of the family. I want to do it all together. Let's start putting things in place now. So I just hope that's been a really practical insight into how I've decided to handle Christmas this year, because last year, honestly, Christmas didn't feel like Christmas. And I felt like it was just a big stressful deadline.
Yeah. And I think what you said was awesome, Joy, where you said it took the kind of practice and it took the time to prepare those things. So if you're listening, you might go, I don't know if I'm going to have the space. I don't know if I'm going to have the time to do this. Putting in that time now, the payoff, like you said, is far more rewarding and far more fruitful than if we just leave it till the last minute. So let's take the time now. This can be our moment where we put it in our calendar to start preparing those things for the end of the year, so that we don't feel hurried and scurried at Christmas time.
Well, here we are at the end of today's episode. What a conversation. Oh my gosh. And hey, if you've really enjoyed today's guest, chances are they've been on the podcast before and they've talked about similar things. So go back through the catalogue, have a quick listen, and you can find that person or that story or that topic that really resonates with you. I'd also encourage you to share this episode with those in your world who might also really find today's episode helpful. Let's spread the joy, let's spread the light, and sending a simple link to a podcast episode, gosh, in the same way it's maybe changed something in your life, it could create massive ripples of change in their life too. So don't hesitate. If you love the podcast, share it, because that's what it's all about, right? Sharing the love. Take care of yourself, and I look forward to catching up again next time.